Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Thursday, July 18th, 2024. Is that right? Anyway, post-market wrap-up. I have a lot to cover with you people, and I'm going to go over some concepts which should be kind of basic, but I'm gonna break this down pretty easy for you. Anyway, look, so for all of us, with regard to this market, it's amazing. We're seeing exactly what we should be seeing here. We've had yesterday was a record high for the Dow. We've had virtually 8 weeks of a market that's gone straight up. A lot of this is what's being called the Trump trade. You and I called this before the assassination attempt, where this was going to go, who was going to be selected as the new um, president, whatever that even means here today. Anyway, so what we need to see is clearly unfolding, and this is not even close to being enough, people. Thank you, Mitch. We need to see 10%, five is not even close to being enough. We need a 10 to a 15% overall, in my view, pullback or a profit taking in this market right now. It's astonishing that it took this long, but I believed it would happen kind of right immediately after the assassination attempt. I mean, the market just shot up after that, realizing that it was a lock. Trump's selection was a lock. But again, that's okay. It's coming now. This is exactly what we want to see. And this is being maintained, okay? The MMRI. This means we buy it all, okay? Every dip that comes along, not just in the stock market. I'm going to tell you again, commodities across the board. Across the board. Silver, my favorite of all time. Gold, my second favorite. Platinum, palladium, third. Crude oil right up there with that group here. But commodities across the board, we need to increase our exposure there. And of course, yes, cryptocurrencies, especially on the back of what we've heard, what we're being told. I mean, people, take advantage of this, because again, our enemy is, of course, the central banks. And we have so much to talk about with regard to what's about to happen. And you and I have been covering this for many weeks. Dollar devaluation. Does that sound familiar to you? It should, if you've been with me for any length of time here. But again, keep your eyes on this. It's free to everybody. The Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, you're not going to find anything like it. Link in the description of this video. Take advantage of this, my lions. This is a gift to all of you. And you're all my lions now. Anyway, people, look, let's stick to the economic news just real quick. Let's talk about utility stocks real quick. This is Barron's. A couple of you have written to me about utilities. Utilities is a safety play. If there's one thing that you do not want to do, if you're involved in the stock market, is get involved in this. The game is risk on. Risk on. This pullback is a gift to us, again, as long as the MMRI keeps dropping. Okay, we got that down here. So please, unless nothing, avoid this here. Utility stocks get hit by the Trump trade. Of course, it's because the game is risk on like we've never seen. The market is pricing in a few things here. Currency devaluation on a massive scale. And of course, the Federal Reserve buying assets like you've never seen before either. The Federal Reserve is going to look for every excuse imaginable and things we can't even dream about to continue to inflate. For the current administration, okay, let's talk about this. I actually got nauseous for a second to thinking about what's happening here. The current administration has done everything in its power to expand war. No other endeavor on this planet demands more creation of currency out of nothing than war. Okay. Now, is that going to change under Trump? I would expect so. Okay. But there's going to be another avenue, one way or the other, to continue to pull cash into the now. just to sustain where we are. And it has to grow. It can't stop. So we have to think again ahead. The market is always a forward-looking in price mechanism. And that's why a lot of people get caught on the wrong side of it. They think in real time. The market doesn't actually work in real time. It works in the future. And you see the future now being reflected in what's called futures. You understand this? All right. Just if that's complicated, just forget it. Just understand that the market prices in things way ahead of time before it happens. And then that's why you get a generally sell the news moment. You've heard this before? Joseph, thank you. Anyway, so please avoid this. You don't want to be in utilities. So you want to take on risk here, meaning, first of all, being long the market, as I said. At the same time, look, you cannot be all in one place. Mitch, thanks again. You got to look for where there is massively undervalued assets. And again, that's commodities in my view. Commodities are priced in dollars. We all know that. The title of this video, let's go back to the title of this video real quick because I have some more economic news and a whole bunch of other things I want to talk to you about. Many people are pointing their fingers in the wrong spot. Oh, it's the BRICS nations that are going to destroy the dollar. Oh, people are dumping the dollar. The dollar is losing its reserve status. The dollar has been being destroyed and is currently being destroyed or led to its death from within. Obviously, again, look, if you would have just, and don't take my word for anything here, always do your own research, but it should make sense to you that the mechanism here of the debt-based economic model depends on the relentless acquisition of hyper-ballooning debt moving forward. And you all know this, I told you a million times. The acquisition of debt, whether it's via the mechanism of war, building up the U.S. military, building walls, whatever it is, the mechanism is always the same, to pull more cash into the now. And it must be done so not linearly. It has to go up almost parabolic. As a matter of fact, I urge you all to look at a chart of the U.S. debt since the meltdown, the stock market crash of 2008. The stock market crash of 2008. Let's back up a moment here, okay? Let's cover. It was about the credit markets locking. And as a result, we watched the stock market fall. What's the job of the market? The market has only one job, and that is to determine fair market value. That's it. Okay. Now, these things get way ahead of themselves for a multitude of reasons. Okay. Easy money is a huge one that inflates asset bubbles to the upside and inverse bubbles to the downside like you can't believe. We've never seen anything like this before. Now, going back to 2008 here, everyone was focusing on the stock market. Oh, the stock market's crashing. Oh, my 401k is evaporating. I lost all my cash, blah, 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 blah. It was really the debt market. The debt market, again, is the driver number one of everything. And that's why central banks have chosen that aspect of the market to manipulate and rig. They're buying it all, devaluing their currency in concert. They're all doing the same thing. They're all racing to the bottom here. So again, just understanding that with regard to the death of the dollar, it's from within. And that is about to get much worse. And I want to show you why I am saying that. You all know this anyway. Jeffrey, thank you. Yes, MMRI is a rock, man. Let me say this about the MMRI real quick. It has performed leaps and bounds better than I actually thought it would when I first came up with that little thing. And I am happy to share that with all of you. But anyway, going back to what we were talking about here, what happened then, again, with every market crash, the market gets way ahead of itself. There's euphoria. There's all kinds of drivers behind it, like we're seeing now, but never to this degree before. Okay, this is the biggest bubble in the stock market that we've ever seen in the history of humanity, with massively inverted bubbles as well. I'm talking about commodities. Again, when cash is forced into the stock market via suppressed rates, and that's what we've been getting and what we're about to get moving forward, it just opens up a doorway for cash to make its way into risk assets. That's why I'm saying avoid safety. There's no reason to be involved with safety other than betting against the debt becoming our own central banks, of course, because these assets are on sale, as I was about to say. When you have that mechanism of artificially suppressed rates, not allowing the market to determine fair value, it pulls cash out of assets it should be going into. You know that, all right? And that's where you get commodities, which are on sale on a level that is just beyond belief. And I also believe that to be true with cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, in light of what we're hearing, seeing, is being presented to us. And you and I have been way ahead of the curve on this. Anyway, so the real issue in '08 was the credit markets were locking, and we're going to get that again. In order for the credit or debt to continue to flow, you understand? You see this symbol here, this infinity symbol that I'm drawing? You guys are familiar with this here? Okay. It has to grow into infinity until it reaches that point of maximum saturation where we are at now. The maximum saturation moment, which we are in now, we're seeing the fallout of that in the form of a cratering global economy, in the form of massive inflation around the world. We've outlined this before it even happened, but here we are now. Okay. Now, what we're going to see here is, again, the debt, the exponential acquisition of it must be expanded on. And part of that is currency devaluation, currency being a unit of debt. Now, the credit market's locking up. When the Dow went from 12,000 to 6,000, okay, we don't know whether it would have went to 3, 2, who knows? It couldn't go to 0. The reason why, because these companies that make up the market, they have value. You understand? But the bottom is, we don't know where the bottom was, okay, because at that point, what happened? Our lovely congressional leaders, our almighties, met with, of course, at that time, Fed Chair Ben Bernanke with the Wall Street banks, and we got to pump trillions of dollars into billions and billions and billions of trillions into the market to free up the credit markets. Otherwise, that was it. That's where they should have stopped, and I'm on record saying that, going back as far back as you want to go. Once the Federal Reserve, okay, pumped enough capital into the debt system or the credit system where credit started to flow. Mitch knows what I'm talking about, Timothy as well. Thank you both. After physical silver, what is the next best asset with? There is always counterparty risk. With physical silver, again, there is some counterparty risk there. Why? JP Morgan, the largest rigger of metals in the history of the world, they've been rigging the price of silver to the downside via the derivative more than anybody else, but they're all doing it. None more so. How, just talking about Jamie Dimon, our potential new U.S. Treasury Secretary here, the list of scandals associated with not just JP Morgan Bank with regard to LIBOR, you remember all that stuff? The hiding of $6 billion, no, is it 60 billion? A huge amount of derivative losses that they tried to hide, okay, from the SEC, and not and the whole scandal with the silver, quite obviously, and then of course the Epstein thing here. And what happened? JP Morgan paid a pretty hefty fine to the U.S. Virgin Islands to cover it up. Okay, anyway, Jamie Dimon ain't a straight shooter here, and if Trump chooses this guy, I'm telling you, it may be time to move. I mean, I'm talking about, get out of here, man, because the setup is too disgusting. Going back to the markets real quick. Hope that answers your question just real quick. Hold the questions till the end. I promise to answer them with you. So again, the capital injections that were sucked right out of us, to free up the markets, to bail out the banking system on their bad debts, of course, on their bad bets. And their bad debts, of course. That's where it should have stopped, but they didn't. They went into QE1, QE2, Operation Twist, and the Fed and other central banks said, hey, hold on a second here. We have a mechanism. I mean, of course, this is done on purpose, of course. Let's start pumping more debt into the system than we could possibly imagine, because the more debt a central bank can pump into the system in the form of currency. The currency, these are units of debt, they're not units of wealth. These are central bank issued notes, which we work for the privilege to borrow from the issuing central bank. We owe it back to them, plus interest to create out of nothing. Imagine a system like that. Well, that's what we have. Okay. So that's when they should have stopped. When the credit market started to flow, they should have allowed the market to again start to work, but they didn't do that. All of the debt that was pumped into the system here on our backs. Again, look at what happened during Obama's tenure, following right into Trump, following right into this guy. Do you think it's an accident, really, why the debt has more than doubled since Obama took office, skyrocketed during his tenure, skyrocketed under Trump, skyrocketed under this guy? You think it's not going to skyrocket moving forward? You think all of a sudden a miracle is going to happen? I'm going to tell you why you're absolutely wrong, and why this mechanism is so disgusting. And this I believe is Barron's. This is from today, and I wrote all over this, how Trump and Vance want a weaker dollar. If you look back in 2023, our next VP here had a real nice little talk with Powell. It's on public record. You can see this for yourself, where he was talking about how he believes the dollar should be weaker. There's a lot of reasons why this guy was chosen here. He's on the same page as Trump with this weaker dollar, weaker dollar, weaker dollar. Now understand what I'm talking about here with regard to the death of the dollar from within. These two guys are going to make sure the final nails are put in the coffin of the dollar here. Central banks in a race to the bottom. The Fed has been lagging here. Okay, I think with both of these guys take on cryptocurrency, Trump has been broadcasting to the world, loves crypto. Bitcoin president. This other guy loves crypto as well. He also loves commodities, smart guy, and tech, smart guy. We got to give credit where credit's due. But what's going to end up happening here, again, is the vicious cycle that this will enter. Again, think about what I'm about to tell you. How does a central bank weaken its currency? Do they just say, hey, guess what, everyone, we're going to weaken the currency? It's going to happen. No, they have to start creating more of it. And let me ask you this. How many of you understand how a newly created bill, a dollar in this case, okay, gets its value? When the Fed creates a dollar and they just make it, is it automatically worth a dollar? No, it isn't. How that dollar, and of course, we're talking about trillions. When that dollar is magically made and it's printed and it smells really nice after it just came out of the printing press, that dollar must steal a fraction of 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 purchasing power from every other existing dollar, okay, in whatever form it exists, whether it's added to a digital screen or it's printed. And that mechanism, again, is massively purchasing power negatives. Does that make sense to you? Okay, I hope it does, because that's how it works. It's not just magically worth a dollar. It has to steal purchasing power from all the existing bills in existence. Now, when this happens, when you get a central bank that's going to weaken its currency, and I can promise you, and I told you that the central bank, the Fed, is going to get an ally. It has two. Okay. No doubt about it. This is what's going to happen here. Currency devaluation means the Fed is going to go on a binge to create more currency, more debt out of nothing. And that presents a vicious cycle because, again, now it takes more devalued dollars to buy anything, like a pen, like a pair of reading glasses because I'm getting old, or whatever it might be. See what I'm saying here? So it allows the central bank to say, okay, now we need to create even more to make up the difference as the currency becomes weaker. Not only that, okay, we're going to see the Fed is going to announce that they're cutting rates very soon. They're already in the debt market, keeping rates suppressed. Okay, when the central bank says, let me just clear this up real quick, okay? And I know maybe I'm getting a little deep with this. When the Federal Reserve in this case says we're going to cut rates, how is that actually, what do they do? Okay, what they do is it involves the overnight lending rate between institutions. They lower that down, and that bleeds off. You understand? And that's how the Fed does this, but they have to do this via currency creation. So the mechanism here of currency devaluation, as I've been broadcasting to you since forever, and the mechanism here of more asset purchases by the Fed. No two things on the planet Earth or off the Earth or anywhere else you want to look can make a central banker happier than hearing about how we want a weaker dollar. The Fed, this is why these guys are being selected and why Jamie Dimon will probably be the U.S. Treasury Secretary, or this other guy, Scott Bessent, whatever, a hedge fund manager, George Soros protege. Are these the guys you want as Treasury Secretary? You really think they got your back? Anyway, people, what we're witnessing here is two people that are going to try to sell you a lie. That is that trickle-down economics works. Now, let's talk about trickle-down economics. Oh, my God, I got so much to talk to you about. I ran two little polls earlier today, and this is, you guys are very smart. Okay, so I wrote this. Do you believe that trickle-down economics works? Trickle-down economics means making the rich richer, and then by some magical turn of events, this helps the middle class. Or do you believe that a better solution is bottom-up economics here? That is by empowering the middle class, and this would, of course, require a stronger dollar, which can't happen. Okay, the economy improves for everyone. 8% of you said that you believe that trickle-down works and we should go out and make the rich richer because we all do better. 92% of you said bottom-up economics, it's time to put the middle class first. I'm on that page with you. The second thing I wrote here was, do you expect that Trump, Vance, or whomever else is chosen as your U.S. Treasury Secretary will ever point their finger at who the real enemy is? That's the Federal Reserve. Or do you expect a blame game? It's China's fault. It's whoever's fault as the economy is deliberately taken apart faster. 83% of you believe that we're going to get a blame game. Obviously, 83% of you are smart. 17% of you said, I expect Trump, Vance, or whatever Treasury Secretary will point their finger at the Fed. That 17% of you needs to up your medication a lot because you're not going to hear it. Every opportunity that has been thrown in this man's face to call out the Fed has gone as with a distraction or another deception or something along those lines here. Anyway, so that's with regard to that. Now I want to talk about some economic news from today. I love Market Watch because they always put out these two contradictory things. Market Watch this morning. Okay, this is the economic news from today. The Philadelphia Fed's factory gauge jumps in July, a sign that U.S. manufacturing could be recovering. This is 1 year of U.S. manufacturing. Does that look like any recovery to you? I don't think so. Now, on their second, this came out later. The U.S. economy is slowing. Leading index signals, the leading economic indicators, every single one is pointing lower. And that means that the economy is about to free fall faster. But of course, Vance has already started it. Okay, it's China's fault. It's China's fault. China's going to be, this is obviously being selected here because you see, you don't live over there. Are they going to blame Biden, or they're going to blame whatever they can blame? It cannot possibly be the fault of the Federal Reserve, who's deliberately deconstructing the U.S. economy, central banks deconstructing the world economy, leading into a new system. Now, these two guys, again, I'll show you their lovely faces, both being strong, very strong proponents of cryptocurrency. I am a crypto bull to the highest possible order. But these two guys are going to make sure that the new system is ushered in faster. It's already ready to go. The Fed just needs a couple of allies here to finish what the Fed started over a century ago, and that is a lot more control. This is a system about control. I believe it's extremely probable that we're going to see under Trump's and this thing here, tenure, the tokenized system that you and I have already outlined here, a digital system. We're going to be sold why it's so good and how this is going to help us all. It's going to be a shining light, but they're not done creating dependency on the system. The system must have more dependency on it moving forward. Hey, just real quick, let me ask you a question. We covered I was doing a little research here into Jamie Dimon. I don't think many of you out here are a fan of this guy. Here's a question for you. Why is JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon immune to prosecution? Nothing touches this guy. Nothing. It's just payoffs and whatever it is. In my opinion, it's kind of the guy that they'd want to see uh, in that position of U.S. Treasury Secretary in my position. But what else do I know? But look, people, let me say this. Right now, the environment couldn't be better for you and me, okay? Because we have a keen understanding. We are wide awake. We know who the players are. We know what they want, okay? And we can't stop it. The Trumps, the Bidens, they've all played into this, okay? And it's going to get much more dramatic moving forward here. And this is why I've been telling you from weeks and weeks and months ago, the currency devaluation is going to accelerate moving forward. Currency devaluation, debt creation, asset purchases by the Federal Reserve like you can't even possibly believe. So when you see a drop in the market, we need this pullback. We need a much larger one than we got. This is nothing. We need to see this market. Look, this is how it works. Watch Greg Mannarino. 8 weeks of a rising market. We need to drop 10% would be nice. I don't know. 15. Find a new floor as the MMRI continues to drop. And then we will see it skyrocket moving forward. As the Fed starts to say they're cutting rates. Right now, we know what they're doing. They're in the debt market. They're buying it all. But when they make the announcement, the market's going to go full on like orgasm mode. Understand? And you're going to see things that you're not going to believe. It's going to blow your minds, like I said here. The distortions which are about to occur across the spectrum of asset classes, the disconnect between the stock market and the economy. We are so far off the charts. I've been showing you this movement, I don't know, 10 years now. We are gone. We're far beyond both sides. We can't even measure it anymore. What was it that Jim Cramer said the other day? That the stock market is directly reflective of what's happening in the economy. He wants you to believe the economy is strong. I guess he's a big Joe Biden supporter, as if Joe Biden is in control of anything. The guy can't even control his own bowel movements. Okay, you think he controls the economy? Really, you think that's true? You think the Trumps control the economy too? A lot of you have written to me that Trump is being told who to select. Trump last time, and we covered this, surrounded himself with the biggest imbeciles on the face of the earth. And all of you blame that for, and also, Trump isn't allowed to implement his policies. His policies? The world isn't run by presidents, people. The world is run by central banks. Mitch, thanks again. Anyway, look, people, we covered a lot. Hey, I just want to share one thing with you. Check this out. I've never seen this before. I ran a poll. Should Greg go with the scruffy look or a clean shave? 50-50 after how many votes? 2,300 votes. That's pretty awesome. So I guess I'll alternate. I don't know. If I don't feel like shaving, I won't. Anyway, people, so vote Biden then. I love it when people believe that my vote counts because I'm so important. I'm so important that my vote counts. Your vote don't count. Vote for whoever you want to. Vote for a farm animal. Be better off. It doesn't matter who you vote for. I already told you who's selected as the new president. It doesn't matter if Biden gets 90% of the vote, and a lot of you think I am wrong. Let me just say this too, okay? There is a lot of you out here who believe that either Biden or some facsimile of Biden is going to be selected. I don't see that. Okay. I think Trump has said all the right things. He's doing all the right things. He's picked the right guy. He's picked the right guy as VP. Another guy who wants to see a weaker dollar. At least they're on the same page with that. But I'm here to tell you that I don't think trickle-down economics works. It's like you're getting urinated on. As if really, honestly, let me explain this to you. This is gold for corporations, especially those that transact overseas because of the currency exchange rate. A weaker dollar is going to make corporate profits balloon. And now I believe they're all using, mark-to-market accounting. Forget about the banks. Oh, this bank is profits doubled, Goldman Sachs, whatever it was. Yeah, sure. Make whatever you want up. This is not real. America has become Enron. Watch Enron, the smartest guys in the room. If you want to see on a micro scale as to what is America has become, watch that moving. It's just incredible. It really, really is. Not only are we going to see, again, corporate profits balloon on the back of a weaker dollar, but they're also getting a Trump promised a 15% corporate tax rate. If corporations don't want to hear that, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if I were the head of corporation XYZ, especially a multinational trading overseas, I would be on my knees, thanking God above. Of course, it's greed. This is all greed, and who's going to pay? Who's going to pay for all this? You are. You are. You think it's going to make? You really think we're moving into a utopian society, and we're all going to be just happy and love each other yet again? You really think that? I know you don't. I know you don't. Look, I can't imagine a guy who lays it more on the line than I do. And you know, all of us here, this is our stuff, man. This is what we do. And our job, look, again, what have I told you a million times already? That our enemies are working around the clock. If we are given a gift to at least not allow the system to destroy us while it's taken 98% of the population down with it, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And then, you know, like I always tell you, this isn't just about I love this game. Let me tell you something about Greg Mannarino. Maybe you're new here. I love this game because it's too easy to win. It's too easy to win. When you have this stuff laid out for you as if an open book, isn't it simple to understand what we need to do to at least keep ourselves on the right side of it from a financial standpoint? It's too easy. And this obviously transcends everything else here. Okay. Again, we need to come together. We need to unify. We need a lot more lions to join this pride. People who can understand what's happening to them and why. Understand? And then take action. There are some that, again, you can tell people water is wet, the sky is blue, or what, and they're incapable of it. Once they fall, when people are pushed off of a cliff through a trap door, and then their mind is locked into a particular way of thinking for whatever reason. Again, look, you turn on the propaganda ministry, you got a plethora of channels on this side who are telling you how fantastic Trump is, and a plethora on the other side telling you how that Biden is sent from heaven. And then people buy into that because people want leadership. People want to be told the truth. Okay, but they can't get it. They're lied to. They're deceived from almost the day they take their first breath. You understand? And then the truth, when the truth comes at them, it's like being punched in the mouth. They can't handle it. People like you and me are able to push that aside. And these same people wonder, why is it that I am failing? Why is it that I can't succeed like Greg Mannarino or like the people that are part of Greg Mannarino's pride? Celebrate myself. Thank you. You see what I'm saying here? These same people wonder what's happening to them. It's always the same story. They get completely caught off guard. That's how the system is designed. Put your faith in the wrong place. You're going to lose all the time. Put your faith in yourself, obviously, in the God of all creation. Okay, number one. Okay, you want to know where Greg's power comes from? The God of all creation. My life revolves around that, if you need to know the truth. I don't think I need to say that. I think most of you understand that from my philosophy of loving each other and caring, I should be charitable. There probably isn't an hour that goes by during the day that I'm not thankful to the Almighty for all of you, for what I have achieved, and for what's coming here, because this is a gift to all of us here. And I don't know. I'd like to think that together we're making a positive difference. And I know we are. Because I hear from so many of you. All right, look, before we move forward here, God save Trump. You sure it wasn't the devil? Anyway, because we're all going down. In a massive way. And the lies that are already being told. When this guy came out and started already to point his finger at China, and not the Federal Reserve or even Biden for that matter, it made me want to vomit all over the place. Yeah, I think this guy's ignorant to the highest possible order. I think he's made some amazingly great investments because he knows the system, he knows how it works. But uh, I think he's the devil, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, people, before we get going here, do you want to cover anything specific? I asked you to kind of hold your questions tonight. I think we covered a lot here. This is a long video. Anyway, that's kind of it. I don't, yes, they are. They're both pro crypto, which is going to lead us straight into, I'm just looking at here. I can't even say that here. But anyway, with regard to the new system, these two guys, it looks like, were chosen to issue in the new system will help the Fed destroy the current system. It can't be stopped anyway. It can't be stopped anyway. We're living in a side effect as what has been created by these central banks who have us all by the throat. They need allies. They got their allies right here. I'm not saying that Biden hasn't been an ally. Biden has been an ally of the highest order, fostering the death of people around this world, pulling cash into now to fight wars around the world on our backs. He's the devil, maybe. But they all work for the same institution. Why should this be surprising to anyone? It isn't. Do you feel like this Babylon system is working for you? It's coming apart here. It's coming apart and faster. And this is going to end in a disaster. And there's going to be a select few that are going to get through this because they are smart enough to know what's going on and who our enemy really, really is here on this planet Earth. We all know. Look, greed. The greed of men has been responsible for the death of more human beings on this planet than anything else here. And that's where we're moving towards. This is corporate greed. Corporate tax rate of 15%. Meanwhile, the look this up for yourself, multi-trillion dollars of profits for these mega corporations. Collectively, they need more. Really? Trickle-down economics? At the same time, allowing the Fed to inflate? Because that's what a weaker currency means, as I just told you. The Fed can't just make currency weaker. They have to create it. They have to dilute it. And they're going to do that because they got two extreme allies right here. Yeah, two extreme allies right here. Exactly. I got your backs, people. And I promise I'll never let you down. I won't let you down no matter what happens. Anyway, people, I believe that we are going to part ways. Greg Mannarino, I hope, can do a little drag racing today. I live about 10 minutes away from Bradenton Motorsports Park. Looks like it's going to rain, but I'm going to make a shot over there. I'm going to make a run over there, see if I can get a couple of passes in. Kind of that's it, people. All right, look, I'm out of here. I love all of you from the heart. We got each other always. I got you. I know you got me back. Please share the video. Get it out there. Interestingly enough, I asked people to unsubscribe who weren't on. Look, I want family members here. Okay, this is a family to me. All of you are family members here. That's the truth. We got each other always around the world. You got. If you're part of this thing, you got friends everywhere. I want you to think about that and count on each other. I said unsubscribe. I picked up, I don't know, a lot. I love that. It's crazy. Because people know the truth when they hear it. I don't know another way to put it. Giving a shout out to my old friend Greg Hunter. You know how many times I've reached out to Greg Hunter? Greg Hunter is incapable of forgiveness. I don't even know what I did to the guy that he hates me so much. Okay. I reached out to this guy so many times. Sure as heck is focused on the Bible and everything else, but doesn't practice what he preaches. Don't know why. I love the guy. I love the guy till this day. That's really the truth. And I feel bad. Anyway, that's all. If any of you are Greg Hunter fans, tell him I miss him. All right. And tell him he has my number. Give me a call. We didn't have to talk about, I don't even know why he hates me, as I said. Whatever it is, Greg, I'm sorry. I am deeply sorry. Whatever I've done to you, please forgive me for it. Practice what you preach, okay? All right, people, look, I'm out of here. Love you all like I can't tell you. All right, until we meet again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other.